Hi everybody, it's Charles from Novak Migration, also known as Carol. I'm an Australian migration agent, Mara number 1280062. You can check me on the Mara website. If you wanna get in contact with me, here is the information: contact@migrationagent.com.au or give us a call 0754059551. Feel free to join or subscribe to our YouTube channel. We will be uploading there some videos, essentially those Facebook Lives which we are doing. This will be also available on the YouTube channel. Follow us on the Facebook group if you want to get information about the future lives or some updates, whatever sort of information we could be posting, and join our Facebook group if you didn't do so yet. So join All About Australian Visa Migration Education Group. We have got 156,000 members over there already. I have approved over 200 this morning, and we have got another 50 members to approve. I have approved, I think, 60 comments, posts this morning. We have got another 20. So this group is great. People are updating information, providing information. If you didn't go there yet, you should do that. And we have got another group, the subscriber group. If you go to Novak Migration Facebook page, there is the icon where you can subscribe to the Novak Migration subscriber group. It's a paid group, $7.50 per month, but we are active over there and we are answering the questions. We don't really have that much time to answer all of the questions on the free group, but if you want to get the answers to your questions by migration agent or somebody from my office, go to the paid group. All right, so today I'll be talking about visa options for chefs, cooks, pastry cooks, and that's it. Chefs and cooks. So essentially, what is the difference between a chef and cook? According to ANSCO, chefs and cooks are in different groups: 3613, 3514. And simply speaking, the main difference between chef and cook is that cook is preparing meals, right? Chef is preparing meals, but on top of that is doing a lot of different stuff. He's managing the staff, he's preparing the menus in the consultation with the restaurant managers, he's dealing with orders, quality assurance, health and safety, and so on and so on. So has got some sort of managerial responsibilities as well. There is cook, there is the pastry cook. It's the same group of it's the two different occupations but within the same group of occupations. And there is the fast food cook, right? So I will explain, I will show you the table, what are the differences between these occupations, and what sort of the visas different occupations, chefs, cooks, pastry cooks might be eligible for, and what could be the pathways to the permanent residency. You can go to the ANSCO and you will find the information. The ANSCO, Australian Bureau of Statistics, some time ago had an idea to classify the occupations and provide some information what are the expectations for the particular occupation. So for chefs, skill level 2, they would expect that chefs would finish their education at least at the diploma level. But what's interesting, that's per ANSCO, per TRA certificate 4. And then you can see what are the tasks, what are the specializations. These are examples for the specializations. You can go to ANSCO to have better understanding what would be the Home Affairs expectation for a visa. The same for the cooks and pastry cooks. All right, cooks, according to ANSCO, certificate 3 with 2 years of the on-the-job training, or certificate 4 is the required level of qualifications. Then tasks, occupation, cook, 351411. Yeah, this is the new one. Pastry cook now has got different code in ANSCO. This is according to the old ANSCO, and ANSCO have changed a bit a couple of months ago, and I believe Pastry Cook might have the different ANSCO code now, according to the new ANSCO. However, Home Affairs list is in accordance with the old ANSCO. And then there is the fast food cook. Fast food cooks are the people essentially in the fast food establishments, restaurants, such as Domino's, McDonald's, KFC, this kind of restaurants. Okay, it's not the full menu restaurant, so people who are preparing the meals over there are usually being considered as fast food cooks, not as cooks, not as chefs. And with fast food cook, level 1 qualifications, so certificate 1 according to ANSCO is the satisfactory qualification for the fast food cook. But these are the different ANSCO code for these different occupations. But then there's the question whether you are fast food cook, whether you are cook or pastry cook, or whether you are chef or pastry chef. Pastry chef is a chef, but pastry cook is cook, but there is different ANSCO code, and it's important to know whether you are a pastry cook or whether you are a cook. I will tell you why in a moment. Alright, so what are the tasks for different occupations? Chef, planning menus, estimating food and labor costs, ordering food supplies, monitoring quality of dishes, discussing food preparation issues with managers, dietitians, kitchen and waiting staff, demonstrating techniques and advising on cooking procedures, preparing and cooking food. So chefs, of course, are preparing food, but they do a lot more. Preparing food, it's not their primary role in the organization, in the restaurant or in the kitchen. Cook, examining foodstuffs to ensure quality, temperatures of ovens, preparing cooking food, seasoning and cooking, portioning food, storing food, preparing food. It's all about preparing the meals. It's all about cooking. Chefs, additional tasks. Okay. Fast food cook, taking and serving food and beverage orders and receiving payment from customers. So honestly, that's for waiters, not really for the fast food cooks, but it's sort of okay. So imagine somebody in the what's the name of that company which is doing the sandwiches? Subway. So they are getting the money from you, getting the order, and then preparing the sandwich. So that's the fast food cook essentially. And fast food cooks, they are preparing usually food from the frozen pre-made stuff. So KFC prepared stuff is being, KFC, McDonald's prepared stuff is being sent. They are unpacking, throwing into the oil, and that's the whole cooking. Cooks, in general, they prepare the foods from raw materials, but they need to cook. And here is sort of challenge quite often for the sushi chefs. If they do the izakaya, if they do the bento, if they do the proper cooking meals, that's fine. But if this is the sushi restaurant which don't serve any of these, just the sushi, the raw meals, they don't, the cooks over there cannot be considered cooks because they are not cooking. All right, so that's quite often a challenge for the sushi restaurants. And where are you working? It's also sort of making a determination whether you are a chef, whether you are a cook, or whether you are the fast food cook. You might have had, a lot of experience as the cook, but if you are working in the fast food establishment, you are not cooking. So that work experience cannot really be considered as the skilled experience for any visa. So difference between chefs, cooks, fast food cooks. What are the options for chefs, visa options for chefs, cooks, or fast pastry cooks or fast food cooks? So chef, each and every visa, and permanent residency through the skilled independent, state nominated, 189 permanent residency, 190 permanent residency, 491 provisional sponsored by the nominated by the state, yes, 491 family sponsored, also available, 485 through the graduate, 485 graduate work. At the moment you don't have to specify the occupation for the 485 for graduate work, but that's just for, I think, the end of July next year or the end of next year, something like that, and then probably they will get back to the rules before, so you'll have to specify the occupation from the relevant list to be eligible for the 485 under the graduate stream. So chef, yes; cook, no. As a cook, as the fast pastry cook or fast food cook, you cannot get 485 under the graduate stream. 482 chef is eligible for the 482 under medium stream, so visa for up to 4 years, and after 3 years on the 482 visa you can apply for the ENS to the transition stream. Skills assessment not required. Cook 482 ST Sol, short-term stream, so you can get the visa for 2 years and you can potentially extend it for another 2 years in Australia, but there is no direct pathway to the permanent residency. The same for the pastry cook. Labor agreement, DAMAS. That's under the 482 program, and there are different DAMAs. Cairns, Adelaide, what else? Kimberley region has got their DAMA. Adelaide, I mentioned Adelaide. There are a few others, I don't remember, but you would have to check the various damas, what are the concessions for chefs and cooks, and sometimes for cooks there is the pathway to the permanent residency. And even in some damas, even in limited service restaurants, you can still get sponsored as the cook, and you can still get the permanent residency after 3 years in 482. And there are also concessions. Normally for 482 you would need at least 2 years of the work experience in the occupational field related, but under DAMAS sometimes they are concessions. 1 year of the work experience could be enough. 186 employer sponsored permanent residency. Chef, yes, it's eligible for the ENS. Cook, pastry cook, no. Visa subclass 494, that's the provisional visa which is available in regional Australia. What is regional Australia? Anywhere apart from Brisbane, Sydney, Melbourne in general. So Adelaide, Perth, Gold Coast, Sunshine Coast, Darwin, Tasmania. These are the places where you can be eligible for the 494 visa. So provisional visa leading to permanent residency. So if you are a cook, you can get the 494 in regions, and once you get 494, another 3 years, and then you can apply for 191, which is the permanent residency. 407 training visa. Chef, cook, pastry cook, yes, they are eligible. They might be eligible for the 407. Fast food cook, it's not eligible for any visa. All right. So keep in mind, where are you working? If you're working in Domino's, you are in general fast food cook, not a chef, not a cook. It doesn't matter. You might have all of the skills, work experience and whatever, but your work experience from Domino's will not be considered as the skilled experience for any permanent or provisional visa. 482, maybe if we are lucky. Right, so for 482 visa there is the legislative instrument, and some people might need to do the skills assessment. Okay, so essentially chefs and cooks not of chefs and cooks, but chefs and cooks might need to do the skills assessment. Okay. And if you are a pastry cook, this instrument does not apply. If you are chef or cook, yes, skills assessment for some countries. Pastry cook, no, skills assessment not required. And which countries? Chef. Bangladesh, Brazil, China, Fiji, Hong Kong, India, Macau, Nepal, Pakistan, PNG, Philippines, South Africa, Thailand, Vietnam, or Zimbabwe. These are the countries. So if you are the overseas qualified chef, and if you want to get 482 in Australia, if you have got the sponsor who wants to sponsor you for the 482, and if you are from those countries, you will have to do the skills assessment to be eligible for the 482 visa. There are exemptions. So if you would have studied in Australia, you don't have to do the skills assessment, right? And that's one of the exemptions. There are some other ones. Yeah, go to the instrument and you can have a read. So chefs, cooks, some occupations, those two occupations for some countries would require skills assessment. What is a skills assessment? Alright, so Trades Recognition Australia is responsible for skills assessment for chefs and cooks. And they have got a few different pathways. They have got migration skills assessment, overseas skills assessment program. The name is a bit misleading. They say overseas skills assessment program, but you don't have to be overseas. You don't have to have the qualification gained overseas. And there is the job ready program. So MSA, this one is being done by TRA themselves, and you essentially need relevant qualifications plus 3 years of the work experience after qualifications. Relevant qualifications, according to TRA, according to ANSCO, you need to have a diploma, but according to TRA, certificate 4 is fine. All right, so 2 years of study, certificate 4 in commercial cookery, gained overseas, then 3 years of work experience after qualifications, and you might be eligible for the skills assessment under the MSA. What's involved? You will have to provide the evidence. The MSA is based on the evidence. So evidence of your qualifications, evidence of your work experience, like reference letter from the employer, some evidence about the establishment where you have worked, the evidence for the payment. So pay slips, bank account statements showing the salary being deposited into your bank account statement, taxation documents, what else, superannuation, this kind of the documents. And in some countries people are not paying tax, working cash in hand. This work experience cannot be climbed toward any of these MSA or SAP job ready program. And in some countries in the Gulf, Qatar, Emirates, I think, you don't pay tax over there, and the money are, I don't know, paid in cash, deposited into the bank account, and sometimes it's really difficult to prove that you got paid for your job. You can get the references from the employer, you can get the pay slips, but that's not enough. They want third-party evidence, so bank account statements, taxation documents, superannuation, this kind of stuff. If you don't have it, they will not they will not consider your work experience. OSAP, what's interesting over here, there are two pathways. If you would have the qualifications and if you wouldn't have the qualifications. In general, for the OSAP, 5 years of the work experience, it's enough. You don't even need to have the qualifications. All right, they will consider first 2 years of the work experience as the informal preparation to be skilled qualified chef, and then another 3 years of the work experience, which is required, similar to the MSA. So as the part of the skills assessment, there are 2 steps. The first one is on the evidence, so they will check all of the evidence, whether you have got the paperwork to prove that you have worked at least 5 years as the chef, and if they will be satisfied with the evidence, then there is the technical interview. either online, face by face, but they did it during the COVID. Usually it's the practical assessment, so you will have to show that you actually know what to do. What to do as a chef, that you are, skilled and qualified, maybe not qualified, but a skilled chef. So they will be asking you the questions, they will be willing you to prepare some meals. All right. And the third one is the job ready program. The job ready program is for people who have studied in Australia. So if you have studied for 2 years, maybe not 2 years, but if you have studied and you got the certificate for it, commercial cookery, Asian cookery, whatever, then you can go to the job ready program. So let's say you are on the student visa for 2 years, certificate 3, 4 plus diploma of hospitality management. That's the usual combination. People are studying for 2 years, and then after that you are getting 485 visa. Currently, for Home Affairs is giving the 485 under the graduate stream for 2 years. They used to give it for 18 months. Now 2 years. And once you will finish your qualifications, you can register into this job ready program. What's involved? For 12 months, you will have to work under sort of supervision as a chef. Okay, and you will have to provide the evidence from the employer that you are doing work as a chef, and you will have to provide the bank account statements and the pay slips. And the work experience must be in the relevant establishment in Australia. A restaurant is the best example, and you would have to work over there for at least 1,780 hours. I think it's more or less the equivalent of the full time for 12 months. So you will have the relevant qualifications, 12 months of work experience in Australia, and with that you will get the positive outcome of the skills assessment. Listen, it does not matter how you're gonna do the skills assessment. If you will do it through the MSA, Migration Skills Assessment with the TRA, if you will do it through the OSAP, and there are some TRA that doesn't do the OSAP. At the end of the day, they are reviewing and confirming that it's all good, and they are sort of issuing the skills assessment. But OSAP is being done by some other companies on behalf of the TRA. All right, I can show you offshore skills assessment program, eligibility, guidelines, occupations, countries and SARS, carpenter, joiner, chef, Bangladesh, Brazil. That don't be misled by that. You can be from any country to do the OSCP. It's the matter of where you're gonna be doing it. Back 482 job ready program. Where is it? Not here. MSI applicant guidelines. Program information. They have got a lot of information on their website. You can have a look on their website, and there is a lot of information. There are the guidelines about the documents, what needs to be provided, and so on and so on. RTO Finder. Okay, they have changed the site a bit recently. There we are, RTO Finder, Registered Training Organization Finder, Chef. So you can do the OSAP with VetAccess, which seems to be the most popular, but you can do it also with the ATTC and William Anglis Institute. Whichever you will choose, up to you. They have got more or less the same principles, and they are being sort of supervised by TRA, so it's more or less the same. Which one you will pick, up to you. So OSAP for chefs and for cooks, the same 3 companies, all right? And the fees are the same. Doesn't matter which one you choose, you are paying the same. So the skills assessment, OSAP, 5 years of the work experience in general, that's what they need. And at the end you will get the skills assessment, and you will also get the certificate for in commercial cookery through the RPL. So you'll get 2 documents, skills assessment and the formal qualifications through the RPL, which is the prior learning. Remember, if you will do the only RPL recognition of the prior learning, it's not the formal skills assessment. Sometimes you need to do the RPL to be able to do the skills assessment through MSA, but that's could also be for the cook or chef, but quite often that's the only pathway for some other occupations. JRP, job ready program, as I said, Australian qualifications, and then 1 year of the work experience on the visa with the full-time work rights. Usually it's the 485, but sometimes 408, 482 could be considered. If you can do the question, if you can do the job ready program on the student visa, TRA usually is saying no, they are not happy with that. So these are the options, different options for cooks and chefs, and whether you need the skills assessment or not, that's the question where you are from and whether you've got the Australian qualifications or not. How you're gonna do the skills assessment? Why would you do the skills assessment? You need the skills assessment for any permanent or provisional visa. 189, 190, 491, no ifs, no buts. You must have skills assessment. ENS, direct entry, you must have skills assessment. Transition stream, no. 482 for some countries, you must have a skills assessment again. So if you are serious about your permanent residency, honestly, you will have to do the skills assessment. Which one is the most appropriate for you? I would have to see your resume to have a look. All right. So that would be more or less it. We are also running the recruitment agency, and we have got some employers who are looking for the qualified chefs. So essentially, if you would be qualified skilled chef and you can be in Australia or overseas, you can send us an email with your resume. Cannot guarantee anything, but if your resume will be outstanding, we might be able to find a sponsor for you for the visa. But also remember, English. There are the English requirements for the visas. For any provisional or permanent, usually it's English competent, IELTS 6 or PTE 15 each component. For 482, there's different requirement for chefs and different requirement for cooks, interestingly. For chefs, you will have to have IELTS 5 in each component or equivalent. For cooks, overall 5, but not less than 4.5 in any component. All right. So yeah, that would be more or less it about the visa options for cooks and chefs. Go to our YouTube channel if you're interested in how to apply for the skilled visa, or how to apply it for the 482, or how to get sponsored for the visa. We will get, I have got material and I will be uploading some new videos over there. Subscribe to YouTube channel and go over there. If you need the consultation, you can book the consultation with me to explore the options. If you have got the sponsor for the visa, let us know. We do a lot of 482s, ENS, and so on and so on. So happy to assist.